Hi everyone, it's Jessica. Welcome here. This is an ASMR reading of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Part 1, Chapter 3. And all my beautiful feather beds are sold to the Sackville Bagginses. These tree roots would do them good. He stretched. "Wake up, hobbits," he cried. "It's a beautiful morning." "What's beautiful about it?" said Pippin, peering over the edge of his blanket with one eye. "Sam, get breakfast ready for 9:30. Have you got the bath water hot?" Sam jumped up, looking rather bleary. "No, sir, I haven't," he cried. Frodo stripped the blankets from Pippin and rolled him over, and then walked off to the edge of the wood. Away westward, the sun was rising, red, out the mists that lay thick on the world. Touched with gold and red, the autumn trees seemed to be sailing rootless in a shadowy sea. A little below him, to the left, the road ran down steeply into a hollow and disappeared. When he returned, Sam and Pippin had got a good fire going. "Water!" shouted Pippin. "Where's the water?" "I don't keep water in my pockets," said Frodo. "We thought you had gone to find some," said Pippin, busy setting the food in cups. "You had better go now." "You can come too," said Frodo, "and bring all the water bottles." There was a stream at the foot of the hill. They filled their bottles and small camping kettle at a little fall, where the water fell a few feet over an outcrop of grey stone. It was icy cold, and they splattered and puffed as they bathed their faces and hands. When their breakfast was over and their packs all trussed up again, it was after 10 o'clock, and the day was beginning to turn fine and hot. They went down the slope and across the stream where it dived under the road, and the next slope, and up and down another shoulder of hills, and by the time their cloaks, blankets, water, food, and other gear already seemed a heavy burden, the day's march promised to be warm and tiring work. After some miles, however, the road seemed to roll up and down. It climbed to the top of a steep bank in a weary zigzagging sort of way, and then prepared to go down for the last time. In front of them they saw the lower lands dotted with small clumps of trees that melted away in the distance to a brown woodland haze. They were looking across the woody end towards the Brandywine River. The road wound away before them like a piece of string. "The road goes on forever," said Pippin, "but I can't without a rest. It's time for lunch." He sat on the bank at the side of the road and looked away to the east into the haze, beyond which lay the river and the end of the shire in which he had spent his whole life. Sam stood by him. His round eyes, were wide open, for he was looking across the lands he had never seen to a new horizon. "Do elves live in these woods?" he asked. "Not that I ever heard," said Pippin. Frodo was silent. He too was gazing eastward along the road as if he had never seen it before. Suddenly he spoke aloud, but as if to himself, saying slowly, "The road goes ever and on. The road goes ever and on, down from the door where it began. Now, far ahead, the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with weary feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say." "That sounds like a bit of old Bilbo's rhyming," said Pip. "Or is it one of your imitations?" It doesn't sound altogether encouraging. I don't know, said Frodo. It came to me then, as if I was making it up, but I may have heard it long ago. Certainly, it reminds me very much of Bilbo in the last years, before he went away. He used to often say there was only one road, that it was like a great river. It springs way at every doorstep, and every path was its tributary. It's a dangerous business, Frodo, getting out your door, he used to say. Step into the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. Do you realize that this is the very path that goes through Mirkwood, and that if you let it, it might take you to the Lonely Mountain, or even further, and to worse places? He used to say that on the path outside the front door, Bag End, especially after he had been out for a long walk. Well, road won't sweep me anyway for an hour at least, said Pippin, and slinging his pack would his example, putting their packs against the bank and their legs into the road. After a rest, they had a good lunch and then more rest. The sun was beginning to get low, and the light of the afternoon was on the land as they went down the hill. So far, they had not met a soul on the road. This way was too much used, being hardly fit for cars, and there was little traffic to the woody end. They had been jogging along again for an hour or even more when Sam stopped for a moment as if listening. They were now on level ground, and the road, after much winding, lay straight ahead through grassland sprinkled with all... I just realized that is not a cloud. It's okay. With tall trees, outliners of the approaching woods. I can hear Pony. It's not a tree, it's a cloud. A horse coming along the road, said Sam. They looked back, but the turn of the road prevented them from seeing far. I wonder if that's Gandalf coming after us, said Frodo. But even as he said it, he had a feeling that it was not so, and a sudden desire to hide from the view of the rider came over him. It may not matter much, he said unapologetically, but I would rather not be seen on the road by anyone. I am sick of my doings being noticed and discussed. And if it is Gandalf, he added, as an afterthought, we can give him a little surprise to pay him out for being so late. Let's get out of sight. The other two ran quickly to the left and down into a little hollow not far from the road. Alright, you guys, that is all we have time for today. We are now on page 97 of The Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings, Part 1. We're on Chapter 3, and Three's Company, that's the name of Chapter 3. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this far, and stay tuned for more, and yeah, I'll see you soon.